Hello there, everyone. I'm Karen from HubFizz, and I do website design for eco-conscious business owners, and also help them out with sort of tech and marketing support that they struggle with to so that they can promote themselves online. And I'm here with Christelle. So over to you, Christelle.
Hi everyone, I'm Christelle Verladen. I am the founder of KB Communications. I am a PR and marketing specialist, and I particularly help small businesses, business owners and SMEs with their marketing, providing them with clarity, confidence and connection for more impactful marketing and PR. Hi.
Good.
Great.
So the reason we decided to do this live is because Christelle and I regularly have chats. We associates, so we work together on projects. We refer stuff to each other, and I can't emphasize enough the importance of collaborations and associations in business. But we'll come to that in another topic probably later on. But we often get together on Zoom. So this is actually live streaming from Zoom. We're doing it for the first time as well, so it's all a bit like, oh, I hope it works. Then, so the idea was, we were sitting there chatting last week, and we were like, this could be quite useful to sort of speak to other people, or let other people know what we were having conversations around, wasn't it? Sort of to do with marketing and how we promoting our business, and tips and things and ideas we were coming with. We're trying to solve the world problems, but we can't do it alone. But we we hope that we can impart and share some information with you guys.
Yeah, there was so much that we were talking about that we just suddenly thought, crikey, we should have written this down, or we should have just documented it. And actually, it does get to that point when ideas are flowing. It might trigger somebody else to go, oh, I might be able to do that, or I could do that. And you're having so many. I think what we're finding is that as small businesses, we're having so many separate conversations that actually to have it in one place where people can access it would just be so much easier, wouldn't it? And actually more helpful. So I think from that perspective, considering that we're both small business owners ourselves, and also the fact that we help small businesses, maybe this might be a little bit more beneficial if we opened up the conversation and had thoughts from you guys as well. Like, what do you think? What are your concerns? And hopefully get much more of a collaborative theme about it. I don't know about you, but I'm missing the water cooler moments and the whole just want to pick up, everyone's on the phone chatting at the moment, but, to do it in a much more relaxed way is something that I'm kind of like missing at the moment. So
yeah, that sort of human connection, isn't it? I mean, I've always worked from home, so although I've got a co-working space as well, but I do miss that, getting out to the coffee shops and having meetings and going networking and stuff like that. So I'm kind of coping with the whole remote thing, which I know a lot of people are really struggling with, but it's great that it's just started a lot of these online conversations and contacting people, speaking to people you hadn't spoken to for ages.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what I'm particularly loving is, again, same as you, working from home, and actually a couple of years ago making a decision that actually I really need to shift the business from both online and offline, because PR is traditionally offline. A lot of meetings in town, but now realizing there's so much more in the training and the consultancy that you can do online. It can be cheaper, like more cost effective, because you're not spending the entire day out of the office, and you can help more people. But you're absolutely right, little things like I just started ramping up the more local networking, because as much as I've loved the online networking, that human connection you can't really bypass, and it's short term. It's just short term at the moment. It's super important that we abide by the rules. I totally get that. But then it's great to see a face, a friendly face on the phone, on the screen. So yeah, I just feel like just to have a bit more of a connection there as with people that we know in maybe a group environment might be nicer as well. And love seeing how more networking groups are doing things online as well.
I know. I think what I've noticed recently, though, is it's all a bit overwhelming for people, because friends of mine are getting sort of invited to about 3 webinars a day. So there's loads and loads of content out there. And I think this is something we were saying, you need to be getting yourself out there. You need to be, still seen. Don't just, crawl away and hide away. Yes, there's probably a really good chance you're not going to get any business at the moment. You know, there's people out there, they're worried around the COVID and the virus thing. People are panicking more about their finances, how their rent's going to be paid, where the next money's coming from. You know, business is not happening. So it's a case of maybe not promoting yourself out there, but making sure you're still out there and just helping people wherever you can. I think that will go far.
I think just whilst for some businesses, like if you look at the travel industry, that's completely ground to a halt. There's nothing you can do, which is really sad, because obviously, you know, it would be better for the travel industry if people, for example, were to rather than ask for the refund, maybe just get vouchers or just try and put it on, you know, postpone it if possible. And I know it's all up in the air at the moment. There's little things that you could do. So there are certain industries that can't. I think, yes, you can get overwhelmed, but there is also some other companies that are able to pivot. And I was saying this to you earlier, it's like I'm seeing this word over. I've been saying it since week one. Since, you know, so right now I've got pivot fatigue of
hearing the word. You're an early adopter. But you know, there are certain things. So I was about to launch, like I had been doing all the steps. I had repositioned the business, restructured the business. I'd started to do local networking, and then this was it, because I'd got such a good feeling. I thought, right, this is brilliant. March, I'm just gonna get, like, this quarter, this is when I'm starting to get everything out there. And you know, just be a little bit more, you know, we'd worked on my pages, hadn't we? Yeah. Even in February. But it just doesn't feel right. So I think in that sense, where you can pivot, absolutely. I don't think it's a case of you can't get business. I think that you really have to be really sympathetic and sensitive to whether or not you are what is needed right now, rather than, you know, come from a place of fear and I need to get some money in. And it's a real balance, isn't it? And you know, there's no judgment. You know, I see a lot of people going, well, I'm a single mum, I need to pay my bills, I've got to, you know, this business needs to work. And so I think it's really helpful just to not rush too much and look and listen, because before you start pivoting, for me, I just thought, well, there's no point me just going, well, I can do this, I can do that. You know, what do people want right now? What's their feeling? Now, a lot of my customer base, you know, they're feeling, or a lot of my clients, they're like, we just don't know what to do. They're still waiting, like, for the government, like what's happening with their income, their finances, what support are they getting? So until Friday, to be honest, a lot of people's hearts are still in their throats. You know, we just didn't know. Even yesterday, it was the first time I could get my head around it and go, right, what do I really need to do? We spent all day on calls, like literally had 2 phones going to sort out mortgage, to sort out council tax, to sort out my phone deals, to like any way that I could just, like, what don't I need? And not in a cruel, I'll cut it out, because obviously people, you know, it's other businesses that you're impacting, but seriously, what have I not used in 6 months? Like, where could I really flesh down? And this happened, I had a dip in business in 2014, and I found this so helpful doing it back then, that, you know, just in it for the one thing that you can cope with right now is if you just looked at your finances. And when I did that in 2014, I did it again in 2016 when I had another little dip, because that's the joy of businesses, isn't it? It goes up and down, up and down. Yeah. But it's how you regulate throughout. So I think, yeah, like you say, there is so much that there is also the point of perhaps don't come at it as, you know, push to sell your products even harder. Maybe just stop, listen to what people need. If you have the resources, like you're seeing some amazing things with breweries and gin distilleries who are making hand sanitizer, or there are manufacturing lines that are helping making ventilate. They're jumping to that cause because they've got the resources. But when you're a small business owner and it's just you know, yeah, it's very hard. Have some realism to this. Like, you might have to prioritize your family right now. You know I'm looking after, like, I'm just checking on my parents daily, you know, making sure they're not going to the shops for, like, the silly things, and it's just like just try and make it you know, so they understand, because it's a different world for them. They're not used to the tech, you know, so you might have children. That has to be the priority. So I think just to take it easy right now,
and don't be too hard on yourself. And you're seeing a lot of other people and business owners like rushing out the gate. And I feel that, you know, and no judgment to them at all. I think you've got to do what you've got to do, but you are right. There is that point of just listening to what's right now, and you can't do wrong by doing right. That's my main thing. And if you can help that community first, like, you know, what's important. You said something brilliant earlier about how people will remember you through that.
Yeah, well, I think it's just that, you know, if you're going out there and you're helping people, and you know, you're giving them what they need, you're helping them out of a tight spot. Yeah, you may not be earning anything from it, but it's going to go a really long way. You know, people are going to remember what you've done and how you've helped them over someone that's trying to push something selling on them. So, I mean, because you said as well, you know, there are a lot of people out there, you know, sign up to this, sign up to that, buy into this, buy into that. And I think for some people, yeah, if they're in that place right now and they're ready to, and that's going to help them, go for it. And there's some really great deals going on as well. So, you know, absolutely do that. But, you know, there are a few people who do well out of this, who are directly affected, and who aren't, you know, well, they're directly affected by it, as in Zoom that we're on, so they're doing really well out of this.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of us who are harmed, you know, brick and mortar businesses, the travel industry. If literally things have just gone, you know, a lot of body workers, if they can't move stuff online, just cut. But then there's the other ones who are indirectly affected. So people are saying to me, well, oh, Karen, you should be really, really busy because you do online stuff, and, you know, you're in this kind of world already. But it's only as long as the clients that I work with also have the money to invest at a time like this. So so I think it's an important time as well to just, you know, sit and reflect, keep promoting yourself, keep being out there, keep being seen, and, you know, make sure that you're out there helping people and being remembered, rather than just going, well, you know what, I'm not going to make any money for the next 3 months, and what's the point? I may as well just come off social media. I may as well just stop all my marketing and you know, just spend all my time in the garden or starting up another business or something. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, spending time in the garden. I think that's really important. And I'm so grateful that I've got a garden, you know. I really feel for a lot of people who are maybe in the top floor flat that don't have that. So I think it's really important to sign up to some wellness thing. There's loads of free stuff out there, you know. Look after yourself, go for a walk, you know, be safe, but be well.
Yeah. And actually, I mean, that's the other thing. Don't get angry if somebody is selling, because actually, I think you're right. There's lots of free stuff that's out there. So to not get overwhelmed and to look after you. But equally, I know somebody, you know, I know quite a few people, it's their time, their energy, their knowledge as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of looking at both, going, well, you know, I get it. If you've got something of value that's already set up, like it takes like a 30-minute call for me, like that's fine, that's just my time, I don't mind that, that's for free. But when it comes to perhaps, like, you know, and for you the same thing, but, you know, there comes a point where you have to pay for those services. And I've just seen somebody, a good friend of mine whose audios have really helped me calm down. I put her audio and her meditation in, so she's just launched this amazing group for, like, you know, just for calming. And it's a small subscription, but for me it makes sense because she's in there every week. She's going to give you herself every week. So yeah, she needs to, you know, it needs to work for her.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there's that there is so much going on. Like I'm seeing so many, the pendulum swings from sort of like, don't sell, what are you doing, to, and that's evil, to actually you've got to. So we'll just take it by case, I think. But yeah, like you say, just do what you can do in that time.
Yeah.
And
I think, as you say, if it feels right, do it, you know. And if you really solve them in a particular issue, then do it, because there are people out there who really need the help.
They do, yeah.
You know, and although, as I said before, there is a lot of free stuff out there, it might not be specific to you and your business. So yeah. It's just like before, you can always find free resources online, from, you know, from videos to webinars to PDFs to blogs. But unless you can interpret that and take that on board and do something with it, or it's specific to your business, it might not be helpful.
Yeah.
You can, you know, it might not move your business forward. So.
And the same with content. Actually, you brought up a really good point about just doing your content. We sat down, didn't we? Went through your content, just going, right, what could you do now? And actually, it's super helpful when you're doing so well with consistency.
we try. I mean, I must admit, it's sort of taken it. I've tried to keep up to date with it recently, you know, in the recent weeks, but there's been so much going on, really overwhelming, and sort of sorting out things that I do with the local eco group as well. So there's been a lot going on with that. Yeah, it's just trying to keep that balance, not get too overwhelmed.
I think, but I think if you just do it from a point of, because there's the other fine line of, I get overwhelmed with social media, and so I love coming up with the creative ideas, but you almost you have to listen and you have to engage as well. You still have to do that, and that's super important for any social media channel. It's just how it works. So I think from that element, just to remember that I find all of the news overwhelming, so I've had to stop listening to the live news and keeping it on all the time. So I go in and log in to choose the news that I want to read. Same with social media. I was noticing that I would look at it first thing in the morning, and then I'd look at all, it was just everything was to do with the situation and how everyone's impacting it. And even a how are you sort of like post is just like, it's reminding me. So I have to go away and regulate and just have a nice cup of like tea somewhere, look at the garden, and just do some meditation first thing in the morning, or just relax in bed to sleep, or answer an email or something like that from somebody I love, like whatever it may be, or, you know, a message. So there's that fine balance of just make sure that when you're looking at your content and you're listening, to make sure it doesn't overwhelm you as well, because I think during, like, when you're looking at social media, you might be looking at your competitors and they're doing something else, and they're, you know, pushing like the metal to the pedal sort of thing, you know, pedals to the metal even. Okay, not enough coffee. But yeah, the funny thing is that you sort of like look at all of that, and it just might make you more anxious. So it's really nice to do it from a calm place of just going, all right, who am I speaking to? And I've had to take a lot of my conversations like offline. I've had to do like, well, I've done it through Zoom and calls, but just not join the crowd, and just have the one-to-ones and go, but what's affecting you right now? And use that as a basis of, okay, well then that piece of content might actually help somebody else. And my view is, if it just helps one person, like, you're doing a good job. If somebody resonates with it, you're doing a good job. Especially for when you're just starting. And don't be the fact that you're just starting put you off. In fact, this is the perfect time to just start, because you're learning perhaps more than everyone else that has been doing this. I've got to listen, right? I've got to engage. Oh, I didn't know that. I've just been throwing out content and like putting up pretty pictures, or, you know, putting up my news. It's actually, well, what's actually going to be a discussion? Where could you be?
Well, you can see what's working, what's not. There's so much innovation going on. And it's about, you know, observing, you know, listening and observing. And so if you are starting out, like you said, I think it's a brilliant time to do it, because you can just absorb all this great stuff that's going on out there. You know, it's where the real clever marketing comes out as well, isn't it? People at home, people are like, wow, you know, within a crisis, you know, comes an opportunity, doesn't it? And they're just coming out with some really good creative stuff. So
this really, in fact, this is the bit that I think I shared it on the page. Well, I know I shared it on my personal, and I think I've tried to share it on my Facebook. I'll see if I've actually done it now. But there's a great video that I do want to share, and it's a social media company who put this amazing video together. And it's just positive about sort of, let's reevaluate. And it just goes to show that the creators are out there doing their thing. And when you see what they can do during this time that really has an impact to you, like, I'm following this company now because I just thought, you are amazing. That was an amazing video. And actually, it really was uplifting and inspiring. And well done. Like, nobody asked you to do this. You know, it was from them, their point of view. And sometimes I'm seeing this over and over again, sometimes in the pause, sometimes when things slow down, that's when the true creativity comes out. So, you know, it could be in your marketing, in your messaging, in what you, I think as well, I love seeing some travel, you know, peeps are actually still showcasing the destinations as something as inspiring, like, all right, we're stuck in four walls, but let your mind wander, you know. And I sit there and I go, well done you, because there are other travel companies where I'm like, well, you haven't seen anything. And if I ever need to see a nice, you know, notice now how people are putting pictures of the beach up on their feeds. So it's like, well, if people are looking for this content just to stop seeing other stuff, then actually this is the time, this is where you should be. You know, I noticed, you know, some great videos out there, so I'm like, yes, more of this, please, like, you know, don't stop. And in fact, this is the point where you can write that content or that thing, you know, during that quiet time. You might have more time to go through all of the things that you should have done, going, oh, that would have been a nice piece of content, that would have, just because, rather than I had to because it was news.
And in a rush. So I think well, I think this is something, you know, we'd love to sort of hear your guys' views and stuff and what you need help on, because I think this is something maybe in future chats that we're going to try and keep them quite regular, maybe once a week, but it does depend on circumstances as well. So but we want to cover a range of topics, and this one's a bit longer because it's our first one, and we've also got to watch ourselves because we can just talk hours. So we'll try and keep it to about 10 to 15 minutes each time we do it. But yeah, just covering a range of topics like sort of your marketing planning or content planning, things that you can be doing to get online, you know, what things you can start to look at to make sure that, you know, when something like this happens again, that you're not in the same position, that you've got lots of different areas that you can jump to so that you're more resilient. That's the word I wanted to remember that you mentioned the other day, is be more resilient. So I think we'll from me, I think, if you can let us know and say what you think, give us some feedback on this, and let us know what you want us to talk about next week in our coffee and chat with Chris and Karen. Then let us know.
Absolutely. And if you, absolutely, as Karen said, if you have any questions, like, I mean, Karen's knowledge on she's my go-to. I have no tech brain whatsoever when it comes to websites, putting things on the website. I literally just go, Karen, can you just deal with it? And then, you know, obviously with online marketing, with newsletters, you know, all these things that I literally ask Karen to do. And you've got a really good understanding of branding. We both have, but, you know, again, that's the work that you do. We both come at it from a brand perspective of just, you know, doing it from a way of building relationships and reputation. That's why we've always clicked. It's always been about the long-term goals, hasn't it?
And you've helped me out massively with the content side of things as well. So getting my ass into gear.
And external marketing. I mean, again, I look at connections, I look at collaborations, which is going to be particularly key here. I think that we're going to have to work together, and I've always, again, it's something that has already struck a chord with us. It's always been collaboration instead of competition. But I think now there are a lot of businesses that are having to think like that. And, you know, there's this like wonderful industries that still get along and you know, still cheer each other on, but it's just a way of working together even better and pulling your resources together. So there's so much more I think you can maybe ask, because even from a PR and marketing point of view, and there are some media stories that are still going out there. So if you've got any questions,
brilliant. Good. Well, so I think until next week, hopefully, we'll see you then.
Amazing.
Cheers. Bye.